Good morning, America. This is Jonathan Arias, landlord, attorney, multifamily housing attorney with the Onyx Group and the Byron and Profit Education. All right. So I want to talk about something that I've been seeing. This isn't Florida based. This is in Miami, Broward, Palm Beach, Tallahassee, uh, Orlando, Tampa, the places where we operate all over the state. This is around the country. But I wanted to talk about it because it seems to be what's going on right now in our country. And I want to talk about it because I mean it definitely has affected Florida. I did a video maybe a couple weeks ago where there was an attack on an individual, a landlord and his friend when they tried to do what was probably an illegal eviction on a tenant. So in this now, I'm realizing around the country within the last week and a half, there have been attacks on police who are doing these lockouts, and it's crazy because I'm wondering if the situation is getting so bad that people have nowhere else to go, no other options, and so they're just like, "Hey, you ain't gonna take me alive." Now, granted, this is a small percentage. It's probably 0.0000001 of the times where it's happened. But you sit up and you're like, wow, this is. I mean, within the last week and a half, there have been three that I know of. So this one happened in Oklahoma. I'm going to read a little bit of the article, and then we'll go to the other two. A call for eviction help on Monday led to the shooting death of Oklahoma County Deputy Bobby Schwartz. His partner was also shot trying to rescue Schwartz. Oh, by the way, he's going to survive. The partner, Schwartz, didn't make it, unfortunately. Rest in peace. Oklahoma City Police continue to investigate the timeline of events that took place that tragic day. Oklahoma City Police Department Chief Wade Gurley commented during a press conference on Tuesday that evidence inside the Southwest Oklahoma City home where Benjamin Plank lived led them to believe the suspect was prepared to kill any law enforcement that came to the home. Plank's mother was trying to evict him and called police Monday morning. So this in Florida would probably be an unlawful detainer action unless they had a lease set up. That's just an aside. I just want to point that out. Every chance I get to educate, I like to point things out. The first call was made to Oklahoma City Police at 9:53. In that initial call, the mother called and said her son was acting up, placing things in the driveway. Gurley said she had been working on an eviction and a VPO, which is a protective order. Gurley said Plank's mother was advised to call the OCSO the same day. Just after 1 p.m., 3 deputies showed up to the home to serve the eviction papers. This is what I'm talking about. Reminder. I always try to teach when I can. There are 3 steps to an eviction, at least in Florida. Notice, litigation, the lockout by the police. All right, they were on the last step. They were doing the lockout, serving the eviction paper. 1:18 p.m., neighbors called 911 to report shots fired. Deputy Sergeant Bobby Schwartz was shot near the suspect's back door. Deputy Mark Johns was shot as he tried to save his friend. 4 minutes later, an Oklahoma City officer showed up to the scene. He got to the backyard, said Gurley found 2 deputies that had been shot and started rendering aid and calling for medical help. I will skip over the details, except to say the guy escaped on a pickup pulling a boat. Not the best idea, but whatever. He was holding the rifle out of the window and he basically gave up at the gate, but he was not cooperating and had to be tackled to the ground. Prior to that, I skipped this, a paragraph. My apologies. Minutes later, Plank took an unexpected turn off the highway. He drove toward the main gate at Tinker Air Force Base. Then that happened. So he's driving off and shooting out the car, out the pickup truck. Plank's mother also has a victim's protective order that remains valid until next month when she goes back to court. So this happened in Oklahoma City. Unfortunately, took the life of an officer. Then we have Arizona. So this was posted on August 26th. This was posted on August 24th, but it happened prior. So an Arizona constable who got the job earlier this year when her predecessor quit over frustration about serving eviction notices was shot and killed while carrying out the same duty. The gunman, his neighbor, and the manager of his apartment complex also died, authorities said. Shooting happened just after 11 a.m. Thursday at the Lynn Commons apartments in Tucson. Constable Deborah Martinez Garibay and Angela Fox Heath, the complex manager, were attempting to serve an eviction notice on Gavin Lee Stansell when he opened fire, according to police. Fox Heath, 28, was found fatally hit. Unfortunately, rest in peace. Responding officers found her in a courtyard. A SWAT team went into Stansell's apartment and located a wounded Martinez Garibay. Police said she was pronounced dead at the scene. That's sad too. They found Stansell, 24, dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Wider search of his home found Stansell had entered the apartment next door and fatally shot Elijah Miranda, 25. Sucks. Police are trying to determine how he was able to gain entry, police spokesman said. Sergeant Richard Gradilla said. Investigators don't know why the constable entered the apartment or whether Stansell had tried to reject the notice. There were no witnesses to the attack, Gradilla said. He doubted there was video of the incident, saying he didn't think the constable was wearing a body camera. The Pima County Constable's office said staff were devastated by the killing of Martinez Garibay, 43. She gave her life in service to the people of Arizona, the office said. We all know the job of an Arizona constable comes with risk, but we go about our business with caution and professionalism and treat all with whom we come in contact with respect and dignity, the office said in a statement. A few details have been released about the events leading up to the shooting. Local news outlets reported that an employee of the apartment complex was also killed in the shooting. Sheesh. Residents at the apartment complex were evacuated, but later led back into their homes, news outlets report. An eviction complaint filed on August 15th by a landlord in Pima County Consolidated Justice Court indicated that Stansell had previously threatened violence. The complaint said he or his guests threatened and intimidated neighbors with a gun on July 27th. Stansell failed to appear at a hearing in the case set for Monday, court records said. According to the records, a judge ruled Stansell had breached his lease agreement writing. The evidence shows that defendants threatened another resident with a firearm and has otherwise disturbed the peace. Let me see, anything else that I wanted to mention? This was, I think, it. So this individual was a constable, and that was her job, to serve eviction papers. Previous one quit out of frustration, and then this one, unfortunately, lost her life doing the same thing. I want to jump down. This is the latest incident pointing to the dangers of serving eviction notices. On Monday, an Oklahoma County Sheriff's Office deputy was fatally shot, and a second deputy was wounded while he attempted to serve eviction papers at a home near Oklahoma City, officials said. Sheriff Tommy Johnson said the deputies were serving lockout papers. That is, we just went over that. I want to jump down. Evictions have been spiking nationwide in recent months now that early pandemic protections that kept millions of families housed have disappeared and rental assistance funds had dwindled. In Florida, it's our Florida, it is donezo. So we shall see. Last one was Houston, and this was yesterday. This one is speculation that eviction possibly set off fatal Houston shooting, neighbors and police say. There's no confirmation on that, but basically I'm going to summarize, not so that this video doesn't go too long. This individual was named, let's see here. Let me start down here. I don't know what happened to him. He just went on a rampage, James said Monday, as he stood in front of his burn room, still wearing the green medical scrub shirt he had been given while briefly hospitalized a day earlier. Here goes. The apartment's house owner, who identified the gunman as Roy Craven, along with neighbors and police, said the shooting might have been set off by the man's Saturday eviction, which had been preceded by his financial difficulties during the pandemic and a recent colon cancer diagnosis. Authorities on Monday had not released the name of the shooter or the three people who were killed. The deadly shooting in Houston let me skip that. Tony Mercurio, the owner of the Houston apartment house, said Craven had been a tenant for 9 years and he considered him a friend. But Mercurio said he made the difficult decision to evict Craven after he had not paid rent in a year. Sheesh. Mercurio said there seemed to be no hard feelings when he went to Craven's room at around 8 a.m. Saturday and got his keys. Craven had worked as a bouncer at a club and lost his job when the business was shut down during the pandemic, Mercurio said. Something happened in his head that I'm not sure what it was, Mercurio said. Aaron said Craven first fatally shot the apartment's house manager who lived on site. He also wounded the man's dog, a German Shepherd named Duke. The dog who had an injured foot ran away but was later found. Craven then fatally shot two others, police said. Two other men, including James, were shot and wounded, and another had minor injuries. This is the crazy part. When firefighters arrived at the scene, the gunman opened fire on them, and they were forced to take cover until the police finally shot him, said Houston Police Chief Troy Finner. No firefighters or officers were wounded. Mercurio said the fire destroyed 8 of the 16 units, but he plans to rebuild the apartment house, which offers residents shared bathrooms and kitchens. Displaced residents will be offered vacant rooms at other apartment houses owned by Mercurio. So this individual, when the police came, set fire to the building and was shooting at people. Crazy, crazy, crazy. And this is all within the last week and a half. What is this going to say? Hopefully this is the last one. Hopefully there are no issues. But I wonder if now the way real estate is, people are backed into a wall. If they're just like something snaps in their head, and I hope that this is the last time we see violence of this kind. But man, in the last week and a half, we've seen 3 incidents across different cities. We shall see. Hopefully, no more, but we shall see. Hey, I'm Jonathan Arias. Thank you for paying attention. If you've gotten this far, I appreciate you. You can reach us at thehonestgrouplegal.com or buyerentedprofit.com. I appreciate your time and attention. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me. I'd love to be of assistance. Thank you very much, and God bless you.